Programa 145.
La calidad de nuestra vida es determinada por el enfoque de nuestra atención. David McKay. Saludos y bendiciones. Sean todos muy bienvenidos a otro viaje de exploración espiritual. Yo soy la RevAna Quintana, RevAna, ministro de Unity. Unity es un sendero positivo para la vida espiritual que busca ayudar a todo aquel que esté listo a vivir una vida más significativa, próspera y saludable. Hoy estamos de nuevo en transmisión simultánea en la radio y en nuestras redes, ya que la semana pasada estuvimos en entrevista con David McKay, ex monje zen budista, y fue tanto lo que teníamos que compartir con David que decidimos hacer una segunda parte a esta entrevista con el enfoque de darles a todos ustedes herramientas válidas en su práctica de meditación y en su práctica espiritual. ¿Y quién mejor que una persona que ha dedicado años a este proceso, a esta práctica de estar en el silencio, de observar los pensamientos y de, como quien dice, entenderse mejor? After all of this major Spanish, I'm so glad, David McKay, to have you back in our show, De Viaje con RevAna. So please be welcome once again, and thank you. So I was essentially saying that last week we had an opportunity to talk to you and have conversation about meditation, and that, you know, many of us do have some sort of meditation practice, but I mean, you having been a monk for 18 years and an amazing spiritual teacher, I'm sure that you come from a lot of experience, and I was just sharing that with our listeners and our viewers, cómo realmente es importante escuchar y aprender de aquellos que tienen esa intensidad de la práctica de la meditación. And last week we were talking about how the nature of our suffering has a lot to do with our thoughts about it, not necessarily with what is going outside, but our interpretation. La semana pasada estuvimos hablando cómo la naturaleza de nuestro sufrimiento muchas veces tiene que ver no tanto con lo que está sucediendo afuera, sino con nuestra propia interpretación. So today, David, I would love to hear more about maybe specific recommendations about the meditation practice, and certainly today we're gonna have you guide us into a meditation. So that's really the highlight of today's show. Hoy no solamente él va a estar hablando de recomendaciones, pero nos va a dirigir en una meditación guiada. So, David, finally you get to say something.
Well, for me, there's a lot of different ways of talking about what meditation is and what we're trying to accomplish. But the number one thing is that we're learning how to direct our attention.
Aprendemos en la meditación cómo dirigir nuestra atención.
Because what happens, we all have a habit that we learned a very long time ago as children, to have our attention go into thoughts that are not true or real or helpful to us. And so we have to...
Tenemos el adiestramiento desde edad temprana a poner nuestra atención en pensamientos que no necesariamente son verdad.
And so we have to learn really two things. We have to learn to be aware when that's happening. So aware when our attention is going into thoughts that are not true or real or helpful.
Tenemos que aprender a detectar cuándo es que está sucediendo eso, que nuestros pensamientos están en cosas que no son verdad.
And then once we have become aware that our attention has gone into unreal places, then we have to learn how to bring our attention back here to the present moment. Because here in the present...
Entonces tenemos que aprender a cuando nos estamos dando cuenta que esa atención se desvió a sitios irreales, cómo traerla de vuelta a donde tiene que estar.
Because here in the present moment is where the love is, and the joy, and the peace, and the happiness, and the connection, and everything that we want in our hearts.
Y él dice que retornar la atención al momento presente, porque en el momento presente es donde encontramos el amor. We find love, keep going, I forgot. In the present moment we find love, amor.
Love, peace, joy,
paz,
connection, clarity.
Conexión, claridad, todo lo que estamos buscando está en el momento presente, ¿ok?
Very, very difficult to do because we have such a deep habit of having our attention wander everywhere but here. And so it takes a lot of work and determined practice over time to be able to keep our attention here in the present moment.
Y él dice que es muy difícil hacer esto meramente porque tenemos unos hábitos bien concretos en dejar que la mente vague a donde no tiene que estar. Y entonces es readiestrar la mente para que regrese en el aquí y en el ahora. That's something that in Unity we talk a lot of being in the here and the now. And it's difficult, not because it's difficult, but it's because we have to transcend our habits, right?
Right. Yeah, deeply ingrained habits. And a lot of assumptions, too, about who we are, about what the world is. We have a lot of beliefs that are false, that we get trapped inside of, and that tend to dominate our perception. And a part of the work also is getting out of those things and to what's actually here. And what's actually here generally is good.
Sí, o sea que él lo que está diciendo es que es volver al presente. Was it a challenge for you when you first joined the monastery and a life of a monk? Was that like the main focus there, to just keep bringing the mind to the present moment?
It was really a dual focus. That was one focus, and then the other focus was being aware of all the stuff that's happening when we're not present. So all of the unhappy things that we get involved with in our minds. So, yeah, we're doing both those things simultaneously.
Él dice que cuando él estaba en el monasterio es la práctica de entrar en el momento presente y de reconocer qué es lo que se siente cuando no estamos ahí. So it's really like it's almost like becoming an expert, or I don't know if that's the right word, but into detecting where am I right now, right? Am I here now, or am I someplace else? And what happens is that when we're someplace else, we suffer, right? You would say. Cuando estamos fuera del aquí y en el ahora, estamos en el sufrimiento. Can you, after so many years of spiritual practice, David, would you say that it's easy for you? I'm sure that you, like, because you're being human, there are times where you shift, we all do. But I'm almost able to bet that you have become so aware that, okay, if I'm feeling fear, if I'm feeling sadness, it means that I'm not here anymore.
Well, I would certainly say I'm way, way more aware than when I started, for sure. I've learned to be very aware of my internal processes, like what is actually happening in my mind. And I've learned how to not get entangled in those things. But it's a work in progress.
Sí, él dice que es un trabajo, es un proceso pero estoy seguro que con toda esta práctica será más fácil para él regresar al aquí y a la ahora, y esa es nuestra meta, poder reconocer estoy aquí ahora porque aquí todo está bien, versus estoy en el pasado o en el futuro y ya no estoy aquí, y ahí es que puede venir la ansiedad. Besides those two factors of being in the present moment and being aware when I'm not in the present moment, what else have you discovered in your meditation practice that could be useful for the rest of us? ¿Qué más has descubierto en tu práctica de meditación que pueda ser útil para nosotros?
Well, two things come to mind. One is I've learned that there's a very particular way of suffering happens. It's very mechanical, like a machine. And if I can learn how it happens in my mind, then that's what allows me to let go of it and be free.
Do you mind repeating that? For some reason I got disconnected, and I have my doggy here, and I started hearing the doggy more than you. Perdone, pero estaba oyendo al perro más que a David. Can you repeat that? ¿Puedes repetirlo?
Sure. I was saying there's two things that occur to me in answer to that question. One is I have learned that the way that my suffering happens, that all of our suffering happens, is very predictable. It's kind of like a machine. And if I can see how the machine works, then that's what will allow me to let it go and be free.
Oh, very interesting. Él dice que el sufrimiento de nosotros es muy predecible y que nosotros podemos, conociendo la maquinaria de ese sufrimiento, aprender de eso y liberarnos. I love that, David. The suffering being predictable, and it's like a machinery, and if I know it's working, I can just learn about it and get rid of it.
Yeah, that's the fundamental aspect of spiritual practice, the way I do it. It's being aware of how it's doing what it's doing, so that then I can be outside of it and let it go.
Es aprender cómo está haciendo lo que está haciendo, entonces yo salirme y soltarlo.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then of course what happens when I do that, then what remains is what people call God or spirit or divinity, or whatever people want to call that. And so letting go of all of the conditioned things, all the beliefs and everything that I was taught, then I can turn my attention and I can be present with life, God, whatever you want to call that.
Él dice que al nosotros podernos liberar de todo eso, pues entonces ahí realmente tenemos la experiencia con lo divino, esa experiencia de unidad. I'm thinking of Buddha and Jesus right now. This is like what they accomplished.
They have different ways of talking about it, certainly,
Yeah.
but I think they both had the same aim. And, to be one with God, really.
Yeah.
And to say it in a Christian way, you say, to be one with God. To say it in a Buddhist way is to end suffering, to be at one with what is. But it's really the same thing.
Él dice que sí, que ambos llegaron a lo mismo, lo dijeron de otra manera, que en términos cristianos es ser uno con Dios, pero que en el término del Buda o el budismo es terminar con el sufrimiento. Wow, David, I'm enjoying this so much, and I'm sure that our listeners and viewers are too. It really, at the energy level, it just feels that we are resonating with something that is true. And what I have found in my own life, when I am resonating with ideas of truth, my heart opens. I feel this bliss, yo le estoy diciendo que cuando muchas veces estoy resonando con ideas de verdad, como que mi corazón abre y me siento en una especie de gozo. And I truly believe that that's our natural state. Would you say so? Que ese es nuestro estado natural.
Yeah, that's well said. I would say that too. And that's another way of talking about what we're trying to accomplish in meditation, is become who we really are. Because our natural state is love, clarity, goodness, those things I said before.
Sí, él dice que definitivamente esa es la meta de la práctica de meditación, que es convertirnos y expresar lo que somos en nuestra naturaleza divina. And that's a universal principle. That's what we're here for, right? Esto es un principio universal y es para lo que estamos.
That certainly is the way I look at it. I feel like I'm here on this earth to say it, and say it in a Buddhist way. I'm here on this earth to end suffering. To say it in a more theistic way, I'm here on this earth to become one with God. I feel like that is our purpose.
Nuestro propósito, una vez más, es entrar en ese espacio de ser uno con Dios y en términos del budismo, de terminar con el sufrimiento. And that's why it doesn't matter what the external circumstances. Life is life with its ups and downs, with its changing nature. But the spiritual world, or our spiritual dimension, it's independent in a way, right? When we start connecting with that unchanging nature of life, cuando empezamos a conectar con esa parte incambiable de nosotros, aun si la vida es vida y hay cambio, encontramos realmente un sostén. We find a sense of security or stability that the changing world or the conditioned mind will never give us, right?
It is really, really true. Yeah. And it's not to say that we're not going to be affected by outside things, because we are. We can't help but be affected by them. But we can learn to relate to them from a heart-centered, loving, accepting, open, God-centered place.
Él dice que no es que no nos van a afectar las cosas del mundo, pero que aprendemos a relacionarnos desde el corazón y desde otra manera. Wow. I'm really, really excited here with, I don't know, I'm just feeling it, and it's just, it's a great thing. So David, one of the things that we wanted to do in our show today was to have you lead a meditation. We probably have like 8 minutes or so, and we can do our closing. So then you're going to be doing it, and I'm going to just do a simultaneous translation. Ahora vamos entonces a dejar que David nos dirija en una meditación, y con eso, bueno, vamos a empezar entonces. Vamos a tomar un momento, inhalar y exhalar.
So if you would, find a place that you can be in your body, where you can be relaxed and yet alert at the same time.
Vamos a relajarnos y a estar alerta al mismo tiempo.
And whenever you found such a place, you can either close your eyes if you would like to, or you can leave them open and just slightly out of focus.
Cuando estés en ese estado, puedes cerrar tus ojos, o si quieres dejarlos abiertos y desenfocados a la vez.
If you would, begin by turning your attention to your breath and your breathing.
Y si puedes, pon tu atención en la respiración, en tu propia respiración.
Feel your breath as it enters your body and fills your body and leaves your body.
Siente como el oxígeno está entrando en tu cuerpo, moviéndose a través de él.
See if you can focus all of your attention just on your breathing.
Mira a ver si puedes poner toda tu atención en tu respiración.
And then, in order to assist in keeping your attention on your breathing, count from 1 to 10 on the exhale. So you breathe in, breathe out, and count 1. Breathe in, breathe out, and count 2. And so on, all the way up to 10, and then beginning it at 1.
Para ayudarte en este proceso de respirar, Inhala y exhala 10 veces. Por ejemplo, haces inhalas, exhalas 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 y 10.
As you attempt to keep your attention focused on your breath, what you'll notice is that your attention will wander. Anytime it wanders, just let go of whatever it is that's captured your attention and bring it back to your breath.
Te estás dando cuenta que la mente empieza a moverse, a distraerse. Toma conciencia de eso y trae a la mente de nuevo a la respiración.
Let's practice that together now.
Practiquemos eso ahora.
Nothing to do, nothing to accomplish, not trying to make anything happen, just simply being here and present with the breath.
Nada que hacer, nada que lograr, nada que forzar, solamente estar aquí y respirar.
Notice the peace and the stillness that is here in this moment with the breath. Allow yourself, as much as you're able, to just rest in the peace and in the quiet.
Nota la paz que hay aquí. Descansa en esa paz, en esa quietud.
Here where the love is, where the joy is, where
Aquí es
belonging
donde-
is.
Aquí es donde está el amor, la paz. Toda ansiedad se disuelve aquí.
Preparing now to come out of meditation. Take a couple of nice long deep breaths.
Y ahora, para salir de la meditación, toma un par de inhalaciones y exhalaciones.
And whenever you feel ready, open your eyes.
Y cuando estés listo, abre tus ojos. Wow. It just feels that we could stay here longer, but unfortunately our time is up. Parecería que nos pudiéramos quedar un poco más tiempo, pero ya estamos llegando al fin de nuestro programa. David, thank you so much for taking your precious time to be here with us. We love you and bless you. Te damos las gracias por estar aquí hoy, David, con nosotros. Te amamos y te bendecimos. Y al resto de ustedes, gracias una vez más por ser parte de esta jornada de transformación espiritual. Siempre doy gracias por el privilegio que es el sanar y prosperar juntos. Dios me los bendice hoy, mañana y siempre. Bendiciones.
Programa 145.
Conéctate conmigo una vez más esta semana visitando a revanaquintana.org y sé parte de nuestro servicio de los domingos a las 9 de la mañana en Unity Triangle Español. Para volver a oír este programa, visita a soundcloud.com/Revana Quintana. La luz de Dios nos rodea, el amor de Dios nos envuelve, el poder de Dios nos protege, la presencia de Dios vela por nosotros. Donde quiera que estamos, está Dios y todo está bien.
Y así termina este mensaje de abundancia de RevAna. Esperamos que haya sido interesante para ti y que sus palabras contribuyan a tu renovación. Tú también puedes ayudarnos a continuar ayudando a otros en su camino de transformación. Si encuentras valor en el ministerio de RevAna y Unity Triangle de Español, tú puedes hacer la diferencia al realizar una donación de cualquier cantidad en nuestro sitio. Es muy fácil. Visita www.revanaquintana.org y dona la cantidad que tú quieras. Puedes hacerlo ahora mismo. Tu contribución permitirá que, como tú, muchos otros se beneficien y transformen su vida en abundancia. Recuerda, www.revanaquintana.org. Muchas gracias.